What is up, car addicts? In this video, we'll be talking about this week's Dumb Money Event Week as well as the property and vehicle discounts. This event week is for March 16th through March 22nd, 2023. In terms of new content for this week, we of course have the 5 new Last Dose missions that were finally added. Plus, we received the new Willard Eudora and the new Ocelot Virtue, which you get for free by completing the first dose missions and the new last dose missions as a host. And to clarify here for the Ocelot Virtue, it will only appear on the website this week if you have a GTA Plus subscription. So if you're on old gen or you don't have GTA Plus, the only way that you can currently get the Ocelot Virtue is by doing those last dose missions as a host and getting it for free. You cannot outright buy it this week. So in terms of drip feed content, that means technically we only have one drip feed vehicle left, which is the Karen Boar. Wow, can't believe it's coming to an end. I mean, it's been quite a while since December. I mean, we're halfway through March right now, getting close to April. So yeah, I assume either March 30th or April 6th we'll get that Karen Boar, which is the last car. Plus, we also can't forget about all the limited time cars Rockstar removed, so it's going to be interesting to see how they bring them back or how they incorporate them back in. But anyways, the current prize ride for this week is the Coil Brawler. This vehicle is primarily based on the Local Motors Rally Fighter and has a normal price of about $700,000. To get this vehicle for free, you have to place top 3 in a Pursuit Series race for 3 days in a row. Now, in terms of performance, this vehicle is in the off-roads class and has pretty good handling and a great top speed, but its biggest downfall is its terrible brakes, which really impacts its performance, putting it in about 12th place for track performance, right around the pace of the Everon and the Car 4x4. I think if the brakes weren't as bad as they are, it probably would be a lot higher. In terms of the test drive vehicles for this week, we have the Taipan, the Beater Dukes, and the Penumbra FF as well. And for current gen console users, we have the HSW Devest 8 as the HSW test ride vehicle for this week. Now, in terms of a casino podium vehicle, we have the Infernus Classic. So this vehicle is primarily based on the Lamborghini Diablo and has a normal price of about $900,000. In terms of performance, it's in the Sports Classics class and just barely makes it into top 5 for that class. Honestly, it's just way off the pace of a Turismo Classic, especially if it has HSW, but in general, a fantastic looking car with great customization and detail both inside and out, but not a top tier performance Sports Classics car if that's what you're looking for. In terms of the dealership cars for this week, for luxury autos we have the Tyrant and the X80. And for Simeons we have the Coquette D10, the Tauros, the Bullet, the Rustin, and the brand new Eudora as well. Moving on to discounts, in terms of property discounts, we unfortunately do not have any this week. However, we do have 30% off the equipment upgrade for the Brickade 6x6 Acid Lab, so I guess that's something. Moving on to the vehicle discounts, we have 25% off the Tyrant. So this car is of a supercar class and has fantastic styling with some great customization as well. But unfortunately, this car does have the annoying slow handling flags, which really impacts its performance, putting it around 30th place for that class. Plus, the proportions of this car are just way off. It's scaled up like 20% more than all the other supercars in the game. It's just really weird. Continuing, we have 25% off the Taipan. Pretty much the same story with this one. Supercar with slow handling flags. But this one actually performs a lot worse than the Tyrant, being one of the slowest cars in the supercar class for track performance. Plus, the design of this car I think just looks terrible. It was supposed to be based on the Hennessy Venom F5, but it just doesn't look good. The proportions are weird. It's too boxy in some areas. It's just terrible. Terrible iteration of an IRL car in GTA Online. Not a fan personally. I think it's a waste of money in general. Doesn't look all that great. Terrible performance. Not really worth it to me personally, but However, if you personally like the way it looks and want to add it to your supercar collection just for the styling, I guess here's your chance with a discount. Next up, we have 50% off the Rustin. So pretty interesting to see a discount this large. Usually we see 30%, 35%, rarely 40% at most during event weeks, but never really 50 unless it's like Black Friday or something. So I guess a pretty good discount on this one. Now this car is in the sports class and looks like a track car that's going to have some crazy good handling, right? But it just doesn't. It handles like a normal sports car, pretty average speed, which results in pretty average overall performance. Customization is decent, but that's pretty much it. Personally, I don't really like the way it looks. I think it's kind of a weird car, but yeah. Moving on to the Severn San Andreas website, we have 50% off the Beater Dukes, so another large discount. This car has more customization than the standard Dukes and better detail in the engine bay and the blower options. It's a pretty slow muscle car though in general, but I think it just looks fantastic when customized the right way. It's just the proper Dodge Charger inspired car in the game with much better detail than the original. Moving on to the Warstock website, we have 30% off the Brickade 6x6 Acid Lab. Although I'm sure most of you already own it since you get it for free by completing the first dose missions as a host. Next up, we have 25% off the Weaponized Tampa. So the gun upgrade on the roof of this thing is insanely good, plus its weapons in general. However, it's not armored at all and only takes one explosive for it to blow up, so keep that in mind. Moving on to Elitist Travels website, we have 50% off, another big discount on the Sea Sparrow, which is actually a great deal. If you were ever considering getting one, you definitely will never get a better deal than this. And it's a pretty useful helicopter in some situations where you have to land on water somewhere. However, do keep in mind that you do need to own a hangar in order to buy this one. And some people do get this one confused with the regular Sparrow from the Kasatka. They are separate helicopters, they have nothing to do with each other. And the Sea Sparrow cannot be stored in your Kasatka. They are completely separate helicopters. Plus the one from the Kasatka is actually faster than the Sea Sparrow, but it can land on water. Both negatives and positives there. Anyways, lastly, we have 25% off the Miljet. Now, I believe this still remains to be the aircraft with the highest capacity for seating at a total amount of 16 players that can sit inside. That's pretty crazy. So if you want to own it for that aspect, maybe to get half a lobby in there, there you go. In terms of weapon discounts, we have 30% off all ammo for your Mark II weapons, plus 30% off body armor as well. In terms of triple money, we have triple money NRP on the adversary mode Overtime Rumble, which is one of my favorites. This is a great one to do with friends. In terms of double money, we have double money NRP on the adversary mode Sumo Remix, plus the first dose and the new last dose missions from Dax, also on double money, and the acid resupply missions on double money, which no one really does those. Pretty much everyone buys the supplies because it's better to use that time to make money doing something else. And lastly, we have 1.5 times money NRP on Fooligan jobs, which is the work you request from Dax, plus a 1.5 times speed boost on the Acid Lab, which is great. Moving on to the Prime Gaming bonuses for Prime Gaming members only. So again, same as usual, we have the usual free $125,000 for logging in during the event week period. And lastly, this week's RC Bandito time trial is Vespucci Beach. This week's normal time trial is Grove Street. I highly recommend a vehicle with a high top speed for that one. In terms of the premium race for this week, we have the Supercar Race Business Trip. I highly recommend the Emirates, Krieger, or the Vest 8 for that race. And if you're on current gen, I highly recommend using the HSW Weaponized Ignis or the HSW Devest 8. And lastly, for current gen console users, the HSW time trial is Textile City. As always, the HSW Hakuchu Drag will be the best one for these. In terms of my vehicle discount pick of the week, I wouldn't say there are really that many good vehicles on discount this week. The supercars I'm not too much of a fan of, both handling flags, and the aircraft's not really my thing. I'm probably going to have to go with the Beater Dukes. I mean, it has a 50% off discount, so that's pretty good. I think it's an absolute steal at this price, honestly, for a car that has good customization and detail as well. It's just a lot better than the original. So let's say you have the original Dukes because it was cheaper, and now you want to get the Beater Dukes maybe to upgrade it to that one. Here's your chance at a very good price. Anyways, guys, hope this was helpful. Overall, this event week is actually pretty good. The main highlight, of course, is the brand new Last Dose missions and the 2 vehicles added in 1 week, which is fantastic, and some decent double and triple money opportunities as well. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.